Joining us now, Republican Congressman Mike Waltz, Armed Service Committee member and also former combat Green Beret Congressman. Always good to have some of your time. Vladimir Putin is angry, of course. Does that make him more dangerous?
Yeah, I think it absolutely does. I mean, clearly his strategy, which is a typical Russian strategy, we saw them try to use it in Afghanistan, Chechnya, and Syria, of a quick decapitation, put your puppet government in, and at least initially, they tried to preserve major portions of Ukraine's infrastructure for that puppet government to run. That has clearly failed. They're clearly getting bogged down. Putin overestimated his own military and underestimated, I believe, Zelensky personally and the Ukrainian capabilities. What does that mean? It means they're going to switch to the age-old Russian tactics of siege warfare, of scorched earth. In Syria alone, just case in point, the UN estimated the Russians attacked 54 hospitals and clinics, including 4 just in one day. That means it wasn't just indiscriminate bombing and hospitals happened to get hit. They were deliberately targeted as part of their strategy to then break the Syrian resistance, but now it's to break the Ukrainian resistance. And I fear this is going to get far worse before it gets better. At the end of the day, Putin can't lose for his own grip on power with the pain that the sanctions are hopefully going to inflict on his oligarchs, the Russian people, but also for exposing the world that the Russian military isn't nearly as good as advertised and as he's been bluffing that it was.
And we're seeing that brutality, Congressman, with this hospital today. You have fought against guerrilla fighters in Afghanistan. You know what it's like. What should the Ukrainians do if and when Russia takes Kyiv?
Well, you know, every one of those buildings, think of those tanks as going into Kyiv, Russian tanks as going into canyons. They are weakest in terms of their defensive armor on the top and in the back. And I expect the resistance to fire down on those tanks and vehicles from those tall buildings in Kyiv, but also use the subways to be able to pop up anywhere they want. And then beyond that, they have to go after Russian supply lines. It takes a lot of logistics, and that's where Russia is struggling to keep that 200,000 mechanized forces in the field. And the final piece is air power. They should have had Stingers months before the invasion, much less on day one. Instead, they got them a week after. And we need to be getting them a lot more than we are, and a lot faster. And the other piece on the MiG aircraft, Poland, I believe, should have given them to them. That's a false distinction between it's okay and not provocative to provide anti-aircraft missiles, but not actual aircraft. I think that's a false distinction people are making. And it's disappointing the administration is now backtracking where it did green light Poland to do it. Now they're saying the MiGs wouldn't actually be that helpful.
Congressman, less than a minute left. No one wants this, but what line does Vladimir Putin have to draw before it triggers a different response from the United States and the U.S. allies?
Well, sadly, another tactic is the use of WMD and particularly chemical weapons. We saw on several occasions the Russians stage false flag operations in Syria where they actually hit their own forces with a minor chemical agent and then use that to blame the other side and then to use chemical agents on their own. I think if we see that or any other type of WMD escalation, we should recalculate in terms of our intervention.
Boy, we all pray that doesn't happen. Representative Mike Waltz, thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.